Hello, Marauders Maps. I hope you are solemnly swearing that you're up to no good. Harry Potter and the Boys is this podcast, a Harry Potter fanfiction podcast by me, Radio Mike. Dave Lee joins me on the pod this week. How are you?
I'm not bad. How are you, Mike?
Good. First time we've ever met in the flesh.
I know, in person, yeah.
Which is so crazy to me.
For ages and ages.
And for whatever reason, you've decided to take time out of your very busy life to do my Harry Potter fanfiction podcast. Justify that.
I love your work. You know this. We've been talking for a long time. I really love what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I have listened to this podcast. I think it's just absolutely hilarious. And it's a lot of fun. And
Thank you. I was not expecting this.
No, well.
I definitely wasn't fishing for this. I swear, guys. He's just saying it.
I praise everything you do. I love your podcast. I love, this is great what you're doing. I find myself very similar to you in that I was always writing shit when I was younger, I go back and read it, and it's funny.
Any Harry Potter fan fiction, or as we call it, HPFF?
No HBFF, but I did. I was trying to think actually if I'd ever written any fan fiction, and the only thing I ever thought of, I don't know if I ever did any fan fiction, but I remember trying to write a novelization of Star Wars: A New Hope at one point.
Don't they already have that?
Yes. I remember.
But you thought you had to take it.
I was like,
you
I
were
have
responsible.
to do it. I have to do it. I have to write the novelization, right? And I think it was like 5 or 6 pages. And the first 3 or 4 pages is like the opening scene. I was like really into detail and all the dialogue and stuff. I was like, I remember it. And then I must have got bored of it.
Do you write the opening crawl?
Yeah, the opening crawl was there, and I had all the dialogue. Well, mostly, I was probably 9 or 10 at the time.
Yeah.
So it was off my head. I don't remember like transcribing off the film or anything.
Yeah.
But you look at it, and like the first 4 pages is this opening scene, so in detail, and the rest of the film is like 1 page.
Speeding through the rest of the I was actually just about to say, as you were saying that, I'm like, oh, no one's ever given a shot at novelizing the Harry Potter movies. Then I realized that's actually how they started. They were novels. They sort of worked in reverse, those ones.
Yeah.
So here we are, Harry Potter and the Boys.
Yep.
Now, if you don't know Dave is a massive pop culture YouTuber who does tons of pop culture content on YouTube that you should definitely check out, Dave Lee Down Under. Yep. Haven't heard or seen you talk too much about Harry Potter, so what is your experience with HP?
I grew up with the novels, first 3.
You've only read the first 3?
I only ever read the first 3.
Wow.
I think when they first came out.
Yeah.
I remember I was so young that my mum was reading them to me. So I remember her reading the first 3 books to me. And then when I got a little bit older and I was old enough to actually read for myself, I remember rereading the books. And by the time I got to the 4th one, it was so big. Big books.
Over 300 pages, Dave just zones out. Because you're a movie guy. If it's going to take more than 2 hours,
exactly
you
right.
zone out.
Yeah. I don't have the attention span for big books.
Yeah.
So I remember reading like the first... It must have, because they go to the... there's like that big tournament.
The Quidditch tournament.
Yeah, okay. I remember reading that much, and then I was like, this is too much for me. I never read.
Can I just say, a lot happens after that.
I can imagine.
You definitely switched off very early.
Yeah. I do. I remember seeing the films as they came out. The first 3 I loved, and I've seen them over and over and over again.
Yeah.
The 4th film I remember seeing in the cinema and didn't like it.
Did you switch off at the Quidditch tournament?
Yeah, probably. I've always,
I don't remember this.
I've always put it down to, exactly that. Like, I didn't read the books. I didn't enjoy the film.
Okay.
So I only went back and watched the rest of the films 2018. When did the last Fantastic Beasts come out? Like 2018?
2018, yeah. Because I was in Japan and I saw it by myself in a cinema in Japan. I remember that. Yeah.
I was in England actually and saw it in England when I was over there.
So did you just bulk or binge them?
Yeah. But before I left for overseas, they just brought them out on 4K.
Oh,
so I thought, I'm going to buy them. This is my chance to finally get through the bloody Harry Potter movies that have eluded me for however long.
Wow.
And binged them all. And I loved them all. I loved all the films.
Yeah.
And then, Fantastic Beasts. Didn't really like the last one.
Neither.
No. But yeah, that's my... Well, I consider myself a Harry Potter fan. Like, I love those original 3 books, but I just never got past it.
I've never heard someone say that. Yeah, I'm a massive Harry Potter fan. Only the first 3, but I'm still a huge fan.
Now I'm saying this, it's almost like someone who's like, original trilogy, man. I don't like anything.
No, but it's not even that. It's not even that. It's like saying I only like Star Wars Episode 2. That's the only one I like, but I'm a massive fan of that one. That's kind of what it sounds like. But no, cool. Do you have a favorite movie?
I'd say Philosopher's Stone's probably my favorite, only because it's the one that I don't know, I always have this weird thing where the first is always like my favorite. Yeah. Like Star Wars: A New Hope is my favorite.
Toy Story 1?
Toy Story 1 is my favorite. Wow. It's always like...
Back to the Future?
Back to the Future?
We found the loophole.
I think I prefer the second one over the first, but just a touch. Okay. But I always feel like, I think it's that first thing that always gets me into it, and I appreciate it for like the thing that it is, that became the cultural revolution that started everything else. And I always appreciate it for what that did to, whether in Star Wars' case, what that did for cinema to then spawn the franchise, or in Harry Potter's case, what that did for literature.
Gotcha,
And I always think I gravitate towards that. And maybe it's a bit of nostalgia and stuff. But I think probably if I think of like what's the best film, I would say Prisoner of Azkaban.
Okay, the most in terms of like from a film critique, because that's what you do for a living. Like that's the one that you think is the best made film. Yeah. Because I would agree, but I don't think I have the language or knowledge to explain why I like it. Okay. Can you think of anything off the top of your head?
Yeah, well, it's funny because when I first saw it, like when I was a kid, I always knew that it was different. Yeah. It felt different.
Okay.
And when I've gone back, and at the time, maybe it was something I didn't really like because it was different. And I noticed they were using different sets. It felt the style felt different. The music was different.
Really radical stylistic
Incredibly,
shift.
yeah. So only when I went back to rewatch them, I understood why. That's because they did the changeover of the director.
Yes.
And his spin on the... because when I watched the films, I went and I watched... Because they had those like feature-length making of documentaries on each of the discs. Yeah. And part of my reason of buying the 4Ks was like, I need to see these documentaries. I'm going to fucking get the films and the documentaries out of the way. Yeah. And it was through watching that where I finally realized, wow, this is why it's so different, is because once they get to that third book, narratively, the stories start to become a little bit darker. So obviously, as Rowling's writing them, she understands that her audience is growing up. Yeah. So the books have to grow up with the audience. Yeah. And I feel like the third book is that point where it really takes that twist into a little bit of a darker territory. So bringing Alfonso Cuarón onto it as the director and really putting that real dark and sort of quirky, weird twist onto it really changed everything up. And I think just him as a filmmaker he's an incredible filmmaker, and his vision of that world is so vastly different to what had come
Chris Columbus. Yeah. That's actually a really interesting point, because you look at Chris Columbus's vision in the first 2 Harry Potter movies, and it's very like, for some reason, I'm like, it's very like Jumanji or like family film.
Like 90s family.
Yeah. And then suddenly you get Alfonso Cuarón in, and it's like, for me, it's sort of like, it's almost like Tim Burton-y. It's very dark and gritty and weird. Like, even to the point where the uniforms that they wear are so different. They don't wear witches' hats anymore. Yeah. The uniforms are all like really roughly done up, and they don't do their buttons up and stuff like that. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It feels very different. And then movies 5 through 8 are all done by the same director, David Yates. And to me, they do feel very similar in their vibe. Like, all the characters look very similar in between them, where if you look at 1 and 2 and then 3 and then 4 all have different directors, all the characters and the feel of it feel very different.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's the one that definitely stands out as its own thing. Yeah. Because obviously they just let him do what he wanted to do. Yeah. And he made it his film. Yeah. It's very stylistically similar to other stuff that he's done. So
you've seen a lot of movies. Yeah. Is there a plot point or story arc in the Harry Potter franchise that you think is just a really well-told story? Is there any particular thing that stands out to you?
I think the whole... I just love the world building of it all.
Okay.
The idea that one person can come up with this insane mythology in a way. Yeah. That goes on, takes on its own life. And like, we haven't seen anything like it in our lifetime, and we probably won't ever again in our lifetime. And this is you only get a small handful of authors who have done it over time. You think of Tolkien, Lewis Carroll.
Yeah. C.S. Lewis, maybe.
Who did the Narnia. Stuff like that, even George Lucas with Star Wars. There's only very few, authors who can do something like that.
Yeah.
I think just that whole idea of creating your own mythology is insane. But I do love Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone for our American listeners.
Yeah.
I love that as like a children's story. It's like a real, like an Alice in Wonderland or Chronicles of Narnia sort of thing. And it feels like to me the way that she then took the series into more adult territory. I don't know. I feel like that stands on its own as like a...
I feel like Philosopher's Stone doesn't get as much credit as it should for like even the twist ending of Professor Quirrell being the villain. Like, it is pretty interesting to see. Like, I never picked it as a kid. And the whole time it's mentioned that he's wearing this turban and stuff. And then, and you do think it's Snape, and then it ends up being Quirrell. Like, that is a great twist for a kid's film like that, I think. And I don't think many people saw it coming. Finally, do you have a Hogwarts house that you think... I'd put you straight into Gryffindor.
I always would say Gryffindor.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I definitely would say that.
Yeah.
Any reason why, or...?
Because it's a good one.
Because
because of Harry.
Because you wouldn't want to bloody be a Hufflepuff, would you?
No.
All right.
Yeah. Gryffindor, all the way. Team Gryffindor.
Okay, there you go. We've had very varied responses to that. We've had a few Slytherins, we've had some Hufflepuffs, a Ravenclaw, a couple Gryffindors, so that's good.
There you go.
We do play a game on this show. Okay. It's a new game that I launched last week. The name of this segment is...
Finito Quotronum!
Finito Quotronum.
All right, this is my turn to go because I'm going to... lose.
I reckon you might get this.
All right, let's have a look.
I've started easy.
Okay.
And just so you know in the room, they are going to play out of this thing, so we just need to listen very closely.
Okay.
The listeners will hear it at full volume, but we just need to listen closely. So, obviously, I play a quote from the Harry Potter franchise movies. You have to finito that quote trono.
Okay, righto.
So here is the first one. I would say a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
Have a listen to this and finito this quote tronum.
Scared Potter.
So it's someone saying scared Potter.
Yeah, that's Draco Malfoy.
Yeah.
You wish.
So you locking that in?
I don't know. Should I?
Well,
no, it's something like
you're
that.
Playing the game.
You wish. Oh, no.
Do you want to hear the answer?
Yeah.
Here's the answer.
You wish.
He's got it. He's got it. You finitoed that quote.
There's something in there that just ticked.
You have retained a bit.
Yeah.
Here is your next one. This one, that was from Chamber of Secrets. This one, possibly a bit earlier.
Okay.
Have a listen to this quote tronum.
Right.
I, a rabbit, harping home.
Oh.
Do you know which character it is? It's not one of the main trio.
No, it's not. Oh, I can't even... I know it. It's something about
It's Seamus Finnegan.
Right.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
It's Eye of Rabbit Harp from Hum or something like that.
Something about a bum.
Probably not. Not quite. Here is...
okay, yeah,
do you want to know the answer?
Oh, yeah,
I
do
want
want
to
know
know
the
from Hum.
Put something...
Up my butt. No, not quite. This is the answer.
Turn this water into rum.
Turn this water into
rum, yeah.
And I always thought that was a funny spell because, like, most of the spells in Harry Potter are like Accio Wand, right? Or like Wingardium Leviosa. But then for some reason, there's a spell that's just Eye of Rabbit, Half from Hum, turn this water into rum. Like, have you ever thought about it? Just seems to break the law.
How old are the kids at this point?
That's the first one, so 11 years old.
Okay.
Guess they're learning the very basic spell. Now, another person who probably could use that spell, Jesus Christ, turn the water into wine.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Eye of Rabbit, Half from Hum, turn this water into wine.
Maybe that's what she's going for with that. Who knows?
Your final quotronum, you're
Righto.
1-0. So if you get this one, you're 2-0.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's how it works.
No, if you get it's 1-all for me to you.
Okay, right.
If you get this one, you win. Here we go.
I win.
Finito
Beautiful.
this quote tronum.
Oh, Remus, come on, let's kill him. Wait.
Oh, Remus, come on, let's kill him. Wait.
Do it now.
Did you just think, what's something that someone would have said in a Harry Potter?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, that's
wrong.
That's not correct.
Okay.
I did get this clip off a TikTok, so I think it has some weird TikTok stuff, but the answer is this.
Righto.
I did my waiting! 12 years of it! In Azkaban!
So it's I did my waiting,
Yeah.
12 years of it in Azkaban. It's Sirius Black.
Sirius
Obviously,
Black.
that hip-hop music in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
background
wasn't in the film.
not in the original. Could have been.
Vastly different version.
Yeah, very different.
yeah.
All right, well, that's
Okay.
great.
Yep.
Do you want to dive into the fanfic?
Let's bloody do it, man.
Let's
I'm
do it.
excited
All right.
for this.
I'll get the laptop out and I will open it up.
Okay.
Now, I will give you a quick recap as to where we were
Okay.
last week.
Yep.
The boys, who are the main characters of the
Yep.
book, they were at Hermione Granger, who is now a professor. They were in her office in
Right.
the pensieve, which
Yep.
is that thing where you view memories from the
Yeah,
past.
yep.
And they viewed a memory of one of their teachers, Mr. Charger, as a student at Hogwarts,
Okay.
cursing another student into becoming a were-basilisk. Anyway, it's pretty fucked.
All right.
You don't have to worry too much about
All
it
right.
now. We always start by reading out the name of the chapter. Dave Lee, please start reading the next chapter of Harry Potter and the Boys.
Chapter 15.
Ooh,
Hidden Power.
a good chapter name. Also,
it's a good
the
one.
name of an attack in Pokemon.
Ah, well, there you go. Were you inspired by Pokemon?
A
Do you
lot
think?
of Pokemon references
There's a
in
lot
this
of
book.
Pokemon
Yeah.
references. I gotta say, I'm loving the Times New Roman font. It's
Yes.
it's very of its time, and the 24-point font that's on this as well.
Feel free to poke fun of this book at any
Oh,
point.
I will be. I
Don't
will be.
think
Don't
I'm
you worry about
protective
that.
of it in any way.
Okay.
I'm not. Nor are the listeners.
Okay. Do I?
Oh, sorry. I forgot to ask you. You said
Yes.
you've listened to a couple apps. Is there
Yeah.
anything you remember of the book, or does it just kind of
Not
go in and
really.
out?
Not really.
Okay.
No.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
cool. Let's pick it up.
Okay. Okay. Right. I just remember Harry Potter hanging with the boys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
pretty much.
pretty much it. It's the name of the book.
Righto. Okay. Derrick was in the expelled common room.
Okay, so should I give context to
Yes,
things?
please.
Are you just like, what the? Derrick is like the stupid boy.
Okay.
and
Right. Yeah.
on one of his earliest, during the sorting ceremony, the sorting hat just said expelled.
Right.
And Harry Potter, who is headmaster now, said,
Yeah.
well, we can't expel students from the sorting hat, so I'll have to create a new house called expelled.
Okay.
So Derrick essentially has his own,
all right.
his own house called
It's
expelled.
called expelled.
And
All
he's
right, that
in the
makes sense.
expelled common room.
Derrick was in the expelled common room.
Yeah.
It was the last day of term. In 2 days, it was Christmas.
Oh, so they're finishing pretty late. 23rd of December, finish up. God, imagine going to school right up till Christmas.
Oh my lord, that'd be the well. They do that in the UK.
Do they? I
They
guess because
do,
it's
because-
different there.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they have their big summer holiday in the middle of the year.
Yeah, whereas we have a winter holiday. We usually finish school around December 1st, like
Yeah.
sort of around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
God,
you
the
go.
world's a crazy place.
I know, isn't it just? All righto. So in 2 days, it was Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Gemini Jones was in the common room too. He had made friends with Derrick.
Gemini Jones is a recurring character. We don't know too much about him, but he
Right.
does pop in from time to time.
Okay.
And he is described as being identical to one of the boys, Lockie.
Okay.
And we don't know why. It's never been explained.
Okay.
One listener actually believes that they may be long lost identical twins because apparently Gemini
Yeah.
is the zodiac sign for twins. But I don't think I was that
I
intelligent.
don't think you would have been that smart then. No.
Yeah, so who knows?
Right. Do have to ask, did you read all of this through before you're doing the podcast? Or
No,
is this
no.
So this is the
Blind
first time
reading.
you're...
Blind
Righto.
reading. I can't
Okay.
remember much of it.
Okay, beautiful. So you're here with us.
I'm right where you are.
Okay.
Lost and confused.
Right, so Gemini Jones is in the common room too.
Mm-hmm.
He'd made friends with Derrick.
Not really sure how that works because are students from other houses allowed to go into other common rooms? I would say no.
Probably not. I
So
wouldn't have thought
Gemini's a bit of a rule breaker.
a bit of a rebel.
Yeah.
Righto. So I assume that... okay, attention everyone. This is a reminder that Derrick is a disgrace to all wizards. Typo.
Typo.
Disgrace.
Disgrace is spelt desgrace.
Yeah.
Which is a different typo to how it's been spelt in the past, which
Okay,
is
right.
disgrace.
Disgrace. Yeah.
Now, this is a recurring joke that happens in most chapters.
Okay.
Someone in the PA reminds the entire school
All right.
that
Yeah, I
Derrick
do
is
remember this.
Yeah,
I do remember this
there you
actually.
go.
Yeah.
It's all coming back.
Yeah, it is coming back. And you've got all wizards in italics there
Just
as well.
emphasis.
So,
He's
so
not.
emphasis.
He's not a disgrace to some.
To some
wizards.
of them.
It's all
It's all
wizards.
of them. All
yeah.
wizards. Boomed the voice of the PA. Oh, and also, could Derrick please come to Professor Granger's office immediately?
All right, so let me just put you in a situation here, Dave. You're at school, an announcement comes over the PA and it's like, attention all students, Dave Lee is a disgrace to everyone at this school. Also, could Dave Lee please come to the principal's office immediately?
All right, you want me to? I'll do it again. Attention, everyone. This is a reminder that Derrick is a disgrace to all wizards. And also, could Derrick please come to Professor Granger's office immediately? Right.
Good voicing. Not many people
very
put
much.
in the pizzazz to the audiobook reading.
Well,
and I
I'm here
appreciate
for it, man.
Good.
I'm here for it. Derrick stood immediately, apologized to Gemini, and walked out of the room.
Okay.
He had been having singing lessons with Mr. Charger lately and had learned some new songs.
Mr. Charger is one of the mean teachers who also is part of the school choir, I believe. It's like, I don't know. I was in the school choir at school, so I think I'm channeling a few of those
Putting
kind
a
of
little bit
things.
yourself into it.
Yeah.
That's good. You got to write what you know.
You got to.
Exactly right. One of these songs seemed to be the words, "You Raise Me Up," to the tune of American Idiot.
We've all sung it. Okay, so I think this was me in year 7 going, what are 2 songs that I know?
Yeah.
I thought You Raised Me Up by Westlife and American
And some
Idiot by
Green
Green
Day.
Day, which was one of the biggest songs of this sort of
You got to
period.
get some Green Day in there for sure.
Can we, You Raise Me Up, so yeah, I'm not even going to try, but if anyone wants to attempt You Raise Me Up to the tune of American Idiot, send it in.
Do it. Now, this is interesting. This is set, like 50 years after the original
Deathly
books?
Hallows, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we're like 20-odd years on from this, and Green Day's...
So, yeah, I believe Deathly Hallows takes place, I think, in 1997.
Right,
so
okay.
50 years on from that, we're in 2047.
Okay.
And the songs You Raise Me Up and American Idiot are apparently still songs...
Still very popular, yeah?
Or maybe they've only just entered the wizarding zeitgeist, so maybe wizards are like a few years behind the pop culture sphere of us and muggles.
Well, they should be getting the first Harry Potter film soon in this world then, if that's the case. Right, okay, so what's next? Okay, so as he was walking, this is Derrick, right?
Mm-hmm.
As he was walking to Hermione's office, he saw Michael and Rob, who were just walking back.
Michael, based on this guy.
Okay, of course, yeah. And Rob, is anyone in particular, or just...
No, just generic person from my school, probably.
Rob, righto. Hi, Derrick said. But the boys were way too busy to listen to Derrick. You've got way in the italics there, so to put a little
Way
pizzazz
too
into
busy.
that. They had to go back and tell the others what they had seen.
What they had seen in Hermione's memory from the last
from
chapter.
the last chapter, yeah.
So it is kind of hard to be someone just coming into the
jumping
midst
into
of a
it,
book.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
opening any book at chapter 17 and being
Yeah.
like, all right, well, what's happening in this? Yeah, very difficult.
A little bit.
You're doing great, Dave.
Okay, I'll get there. There you are, said Luke as they walked around a corner. We've been looking for you for ages, said Sam.
Another italicized word.
italics. Yeah, I'll always make sure to emphasize the italics. We've got some more coming up.
Big fan of the italics.
love 'em, I love 'em,
I
man.
don't think J.K. Rowling used them very much.
No,
in
I
her
don't think
book.
she did.
I think she just assumed people would know
Yeah.
where the emphasis
Yeah.
was, but not Mikey.
Well, I'm used to screenplays, right? And if that is, or if you want to emphasize something, it's always written into a screenplay.
As in italics.
Italics, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
Your italics.
Maybe I was channeling my inner screenwriter,
there
which
you go.
still has not emerged.
No, you got time, Mike. Okay, so where was I? We've been looking for you for ages, said Sam. Sorry, but we've got to tell you something, said Rob. They explained everything.
And that's our 4th or 5th italicized words.
Yeah.
They explained everything. They didn't just explain some of the
things.
things. They explained all of the things.
All of it. Harold? Harold's the basilisk. I mean, we've been seeing in our dream, asked Lockie.
So, and now just another contextual
yeah.
point. Now, I assume the listeners listen week
Yeah.
by week, but maybe new listeners will come in
yeah.
when they see you're on
Yeah.
it. The boys have been having, over the course of the school year, a series of weird dreams involving a basilisk with a star on its head.
Yeah.
That is now, we found out that is Harold.
Okay, piecing it together as we go along.
Piecing it,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, said Michael. Harold walked into the common room.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Why, hello, he said. How are you, boys? Harold, we have to talk to you.
Italicized
yeah.
word number 6.
Sam said.
They don't need to talk to him. They have to talk to him. If they don't, who knows what could
Oh,
happen?
who knows, man. Oh, well. He pulled out a small diary and studied it carefully. No, I'm all booked out, boys. Sorry, he said. Bye.
Zoe with
Sorry.
two W's. So, but also, I've never really seen that happen. Hey, like, hey man, do you mind if we just have a quick chat? Ooh, I am so booked up for the next 2 weeks, every hour. It's like we literally just need 5 minutes. I am sorry, guys, I'm booked out.
I'm so booked. Oh Lord. Right. Okay. Look, we know it's you. You're a basilisk. A were-basilisk.
Lots of confrontation here.
Yeah. Oh, that's a lot. It's a spicy chapter, this one.
This is like
I'm
when
glad I'm here for it.
it's like when when Harry, Ron, and Hermione go to Hagrid and be like, "We know about the Philosopher's Stone." It's like it's getting the upper hand, strong arming Hagrid into giving them information.
I'm at a key moment. I'm feel so privileged.
Yeah, you are this is a big plot building moment.
Yeah.
Like it's good. You said you like universe building.
I do like. Here it is, man. You're doing it. You're doing it well. A+ so far, world building. Right. Okay. So this guy is a were-basilisk. Michael has said.
You assume a were-basilisk is just a werewolf, except
werewolf,
you
but it's
become a basilisk,
Okay,
not a
right.
wolf. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How? Harold asked, looking puzzled. Yes, how? Said Michael. How? How dare you? He screamed.
So Harold has not taken the accusation very well. He's just screamed at the boys. And the worst one is, we all know that it is Harold. So him trying to deflect it, not a very good look for him.
No, not at all. Especially not like that.
Yeah.
How dare you?
He's pretty angry. And that was in caps. So that's you doing an all caps.
That is me reading the caps.
Okay.
Meanwhile, in Hermione's office.
And not usual in a Harry Potter book do you get, meanwhile in the Great Hall, like a comic book.
Well, one of the ones I heard you referenced in the last chapter, something like, oh, this happened, but not the one from the last chapter or something.
Yeah. The book often references the fact that it is a book.
Yeah.
The narrator knows that they are narrating a book, and the characters occasionally are aware that they are in a book.
I love it.
So we're now in Hermione's office.
Okay. Mr. Derrickson, I think you should sit down. There is a lot for me to tell, said Hermione.
Mr. Derrickson, obviously Derrick.
Yeah,
Derrick Derrickson is his name.
Ah, beautiful. Well, I actually had a teacher at school called Anesty Anestus.
No.
Yeah.
Because that's almost too much of a coincidence.
Yeah.
Anesty.
Anesty Anestus.
Wow, Mrs. Anestus?
No, it was Mr.
Mr.
Guy,
Anestus, okay.
Anesty, and then his last name was the same, but with an S at the end.
There you go.
Anesty Anestus.
It's kind of like in Summer Heights High, Mr. G's name is Greg Gregson.
Mr.
Greg
Anesty.
Gregson.
Mr.
The kids call me Mr. G. It's just an in-joke with the kids.
Mr. Anestus was a great guy, actually. He was one of my favourite teachers. Love that guy.
Every character in this book is like Michael Carmichael, Rob Robson, Derek Derrickson, Lockie Lockhart. Yeah, so...
A lot of creativity.
Not really.
No. Right. Okay, so where are we now? Okay, so Hermione has said this, and then Derek sat down.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Derrickson, you are no ordinary wizard. I think that you should have some unusual powers.
Okay, so Derek might have some unusual powers.
Yep.
Okay.
Unusual powers.
And just so you know, the guest must read the book exactly as written
Okay,
to the best of their ability.
Unusual powers. Me.
That's exactly how it was written. So it's me with 6 E's.
Yeah, 6 E's there. Okay.
Unusual powers? Me? Asked Derek.
Yes, unfortunately, you, Hermione said. Righto, this is a good one. Yay! With
Pretty good.
I don't know how many.
18 exclamation marks. And
screamed Derek.
This is interesting because Hermione, obviously there's a recurring PA announcement explaining that Derek is a disgrace to all wizards.
Mm-hmm.
Hermione seems aware of this because she did say, unfortunately, you have some unusual powers. Like she seems to think it's a bad thing that he has these powers.
And he's loving it.
He's loving it.
Right. Hermione walked over to her desk and took out a chicken. Beautiful.
Everyone's got one. Yeah. you've got a ruler in your desk, maybe a couple of pieces of paper, post-it notes, and your chicken. Your desk side chicken.
Yeah. We all have one. Now, Derek, you know that there are 3 unforgivable curses. The Cretaceous Curse.
Now, it should definitely say the Cruciatus Curse.
Okay, right.
I've written the Cretaceous Curse, which sounds like it sends you back to one of the dinosaur era. All right, there's the Jurassic Curse, the Cretaceous. You don't want to use that one. That's no good.
Right,
So Cruciatus, but read as written.
Read as written.
We have to assume the author intended everything.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Well, if it's in print, you assume it. Right?
Someone's edited this at some point.
Okay, so the Cretaceous Curse.
And it's not even Cretaceous as in that era of the dinosaurs. It's like I've gone to spell Cruciatus, but I've just written Cretaceous.
All right, so that is Crutacious for those
Not even
listening at
close.
home. No.
Cruciatus.
Right. So there's the Cretaceous Curse, the Killing Curse, and the Imperial Curse. Now, usually a wizard wouldn't be able to perform these curses until their 6th or 7th year at school.
Now, that's not exactly true to the lore of Harry Potter.
So you're
I think-
changing up a bit.
I think so, because like I'm pretty sure in the Harry Potter lore, you need to, if you want to use a spell like the Cruciatus Curse or Avada Kedavra to kill, you have to have a lot of anger inside you, and you have to really mean it. Like you can't. A lot of people say, how are people not just killing all the time if they all have ones?
Yeah.
You have to mean it to kill someone. You can't just
course.
accidentally use Avada Kedavra.
Yeah.
Okay, just in case you were thinking about it.
No,
I'm sure you weren't.
Thanks for clearing it up.
But in the canon of my series, you just need to get to 6th year and they
Changing
start
things
teaching
up.
it. Yeah.
Well, J.K. Rowling's done that, hasn't she? She's gone back over stuff and changed stuff and whatever. So why not?
The worst part about Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
And I've channeled that here.
Ahead of your time. Okay, so she said that. But seeing your amazing skill of knocking out Mr. Lockhart back at the Quidditch competition, I think it may be possible for you, a first year, to perform them.
So I believe, Derrick knocked out with a dark spell Lockie Lockhart, one of the boys at the Quidditch competition. Weird that Hermione is teaching him to use the spells, an 11-year-old boy.
Yeah, that is a bit strange.
Seems pretty dangerous, but you know,
who knows?
She could have big plans for him.
Well, we'll see where it takes us, huh? She brought the chicken over to Derrick. Okay, so we're bringing it in now. We're going to see what's going to happen with this chicken. Now, take out your wand, please, she said, and I want you to repeat after me, Crucio.
Wow, very strange. This is very strange behavior from Hermione to like be willingly torturing a chicken and inflicting these spells on it, and knowing that Hermione is a very like Hermione wouldn't do this.
No.
The Hermione we know.
By the rule book.
But we're not sure if Hermione, we assume Hermione and Ron have divorced since the end of Harry Potter, so maybe she's just changed. Maybe it was a difficult time for her. Who knows?
Okay, so Crucio, said Derrick, as his eyes turned as green as an emerald. Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
As green as an emerald.
Why do you like that one?
It's a like little bit
as
of
green as a tree.
Nice little, just a nice little bit of descriptive language there.
Yeah, colourful language.
Colourful language.
Literally.
The chicken started, I thought I said pooping, but the chicken started pocking as loud as it could, for Crucio was the torture curse.
Oh no.
It kept going, pock, pock, pock.
Okay, so you would assume if a chicken was getting serious pain inflicted on it, it would be pocking as loud as possible. So we can't fault the chicken.
No, not at all.
Really, that's good writing. Very descriptive.
It's fantastic. It's great, yeah. I understand what's going on with the chicken's head. Okay, so Imperio, said Hermione. Imperio, said Derrick. His eyes had turned black this time.
Wow. And the Imperial Curse is the mind control curse. You can control people.
There's a lot of curses coming up. Avada Kedavra, said Hermione. Abracadabra, said Derrick. No, you idiot. It's Avada Kedavra, not Abracadabra.
Really channeling that. That's clearly a reference to the Leviosa, not Leviosa line.
I picked up on that.
And I think that's a nice little meta reference there from Mike.
Yeah.
Good
like
work.
you would see that if they did like a reboot of it or something, you'd get little nuggets like that.
So. You definitely would.
Yeah. You're going to take someone's eye out, said Hermione.
which is a line she says before she says the Wingardium Leviosa line to Ron. But okay. Cool, Hermione.
Lots of fan service right here. Okay.
Well, depends what you classify fan service. Because Hermione's entire portrayal in this chapter is probably the opposite of fan service.
People would be getting real mad, wouldn't they?
But then
Not
references to the first movie though. Yeah. That is fan service. So it goes both ways.
Someone who loves the first movie. But it's for me.
But do you love Hermione? See, that's where it gets tricky.
Yeah, that is, isn't it? Because it's very off character. Not my Hermione. Avada Kedavra, shouted Derrick, and with one final pock, the chicken was dead.
And then it's just dead.
Yeah,
wow.
It's
dead. So she's taught Derrick to kill a chicken.
Yeah. His reaction to that's quite good too.
Oh yeah?
Cool, says Derrick.
and kind of interesting because Derrick doesn't seem to particularly be an evil boy.
No.
He just seems to be stupid.
Yeah.
So this is really interesting to see where this goes.
Yeah, okay. So cool, said Derrick as he started to curse everything he saw. Things were dying everywhere.
So Derrick's just like, wow, that's a great spell. Avada Kedavra.
Yeah.
Killing
Yeah.
the paintings and McGonagall's cats or whatever she's got. Oh, it's not McGonagall, it's Hermione. Whoops.
Yeah.
But he's just going trigger happy to put it bluntly. Yeah.
No, Derrick, this spell is illegal. No more, said Hermione.
Well, you taught him.
Exactly right. What are you doing?
You just taught him how to
She
do
was
it.
loving it up until this point. This is the Hermione we know.
Yeah, this is, weird that she taught him and now she's like, no, you can't use these spells.
Yeah.
These are illegal spells.
Well, this next line, I know you're excited, but you must never use your hidden power anywhere.
And that's
not ever.
That's the name of the chapter. So we got a name drop.
Yes,
Drop of the chapter.
So do you recall whether you would name the chapter after you'd written the chapter or you wrote the chapter and then
Good
kind
question.
of base the chapter on?
I don't think so. I think I'd write the chapter and then choose keywords from the chapter.
It works. It works. You better leave now. You're due at a secret lesson with Mr. Charger.
Okay. The secret lesson that I know about.
Yeah. Derrick walked down to Mr. Charger's office. Lately, he had been taking secret singing lessons with him.
So I just don't really understand the singing lessons that Derrick is doing with Mr. Charger. But okay, it's not really. I mean, I guess you could argue music is magic.
Yeah,
is a real magic.
For sure.
Give you goosebumps.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mr. Charger's not happy. Derrick Derrickson, you are clearly 43 seconds late.
Oh,
Mr.
wow.
Charger screamed 43.
He runs a tight ship.
Oh, yeah. Get out! I never want to see you again, Anne!
Oh. What happened at the end there?
Well,
it does say again, hyphen,
N.
E-H-H-H-H-H-N.
Yeah.
Well, so that was a real... You're doing great, man.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm reading it as it is.
That's
I
exactly...
can't change your artistic...
No, and you shouldn't.
No.
You shouldn't.
No.
Okay, so let's find out what happened there.
Right. He was screaming. Here we go. This answers it.
There you go.
He was screaming because he had been suddenly attacked.
Oh, shit.
It was Derrick.
You're late. I never want to see you. But also pretty drastic to even say, did he say I never want to see you again?
Yes.
So this guy clearly is just... insane.
Yeah.
He's are you okay?
Yeah,
you're crying.
I'm
Dave is actually crying of laughter or sadness at having to read this.
This next bit.
Dave's just like, my career is ruined after being on this podcast.
Man, I'm just thinking like, if I went into a class, I was like 43 seconds late and the teacher said, I never want to see you again, get out. I'm like, beautiful. See you later. Don't have to go to school anymore.
God,
but no,
good.
Derrick has gone full American Psycho here. Okay,
Have you heard of Huey Lewis and the News?
Right, so he was screaming because he'd been suddenly attacked. It was Derrick, but he didn't realize he was doing it.
And that goes back to what I said before about Derrick. There's something going on with Derrick. He's not an evil kid, but he's got some weird dark energy inside him.
Yeah, Derrick was sad.
Oh.
And he didn't know that he was using the Cretaceous Curse.
Cretaceous, so
again,
so
He was,
Mr. Charger's gone back. There's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and he's dead.
Ripping him apart.
The Cretaceous Curse.
That scene in Jurassic Park where he gets bitten off the toilet. He didn't know he was using the Cretaceous Curse on Mr. Charger. Mr. Charger started pocking like a chicken, which seemed to be a new side effect of the Cretaceous Curse. And
So
wasn't
it wasn't
and wasn't just the chicken doing it before, because it was a chicken apparently. Hang on,
Okay,
I'm gonna read that again.
That's okay. You read that again so everyone can process it.
Okay. Derrick was sad, and he didn't know that he was using the Cretaceous Curse on Mr. Charger.
So an unwilling activation of magic. The sentence is not over. Oh no, it is. But then there's another sentence.
But then this bit here, yeah. Mr. Charger started pocking like a chicken, which seemed to be a new side effect of the Cretaceous Curse, and wasn't just the chicken doing it before, because it was a chicken apparently.
Right. So that's it's a warping of what we thought.
Yeah.
So we thought the chicken was simply pocking
because he was a chicken.
because it was a chicken being tortured.
Yeah.
However, it turns out everyone who is affected by the Cretaceous Curse
starts
pocking
like a chicken.
So leave
it once, Mr. Charger said after the torture was over.
So Mr. Charger has just been tortured by a student And he's not even going to be, well, we don't know, but it seems like he's not going to be like, hey, sorry, headmaster, one of the students attacked me. I think we should call his parents. just leave, get out of my classroom.
Just go. I want to see you. Meanwhile, in the Gryffindor common room.
Another comic book to transition.
Okay, I'll explain, said Harold after about an hour. I'll do that again. Okay, I'll explain, said Harold after about an hour of questions from the boys.
So what have the boys just been there for an hour being like, where were you on the night? Like for 1 hour, he's like, all right, I'll explain. It's been an hour. and also when we left off, Harold said, how dare you, and walked out.
Yeah.
Suddenly he's back they've been questioning him for an hour.
Right. It all happened when I was about not even a year old. All I can remember is that I woke up and I was being carried by a beam shaped like a star.
Weird.
Yeah. I ended up in a room at Hogwarts that I have searched and searched for but never found.
Wow, that's ominous.
Yeah. I was bitten by a basilisk. Then every night when I see a full moon, I am turned into a basilisk.
I assume that only means the nights where there is a full moon. It's
not
not
every
night. Yeah. It's a weirdly way of wording it.
Then
but
every night when there is a full moon.
Yeah, that's probably how he should have said it.
I'm turned into a basilisk.
But that's what Harold said.
Exactly
it's not
right.
I, as the author, was only channeling what the characters would say.
Exactly right.
So we can't really critique
You can't do any more than that. But Harold, you don't understand. The person that set the basilisk on you was Mr. Charger, said Rob.
We did know that.
We did.
You're surprised. The listeners all knew that.
Nonsense. Mr. Charger is one of my favourite teachers. He'd never do that. Would he do it?
Well, he did.
He did.
So I guess yes, definitely.
Right. So nonsense. Mr. Charger is one of my favourite teachers. He'd never do that. Now I think I've done enough explaining today. Goodbye.
And tell us about goodbye.
Goodbye's in italics. Is that the end of it? We close out the chapter on italics.
That is
on
the
italicized word.
That is the end of the chapter.
Goodbye.
Dave, thank you. What did you think?
I loved it. I am scarred a little bit.
I didn't love it.
You didn't love it?
I loved your reading.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
hated the writing.
You hated the writing?
Don't worry.
Is this the worst chapter yet?
Oh, no. There's been far worse chapters in terms of writing quality.
That's okay. But I love that. I feel like he's maybe like at the end here. Now, I think I've done enough explaining today. I'd like to think that he has like his scarf on and he says goodbye. He gives a little flick and then closes the door and leaves.
No, I think he goes to walk through the portrait to the Gryffindor common room, but it doesn't open and he just hits it and falls back.
Yeah.
He's like, sorry guys, now I'll leave.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Now, it does seem like we are starting to get to it. We are like beyond halfway through the book.
Yeah.
We are starting to get to the end of it here. It's pretty exciting. Next chapter seems like a big one.
Seems like a big
we won't spoil it.
We won't spoil it, no.
But
it's I'm getting some spoilers here.
Do you want to throw out a crazy prediction for what you think may happen?
Oh, there has to be some sort of basilisk confrontation.
Yeah. So you think that might be the final boss of
I think so, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
There's going to be a massive confrontation. They're all going to find out.
Yeah.
It seems most of them know anyway.
It's really just the readers like watching their clocks being like, when are we finally finishing all of this? Because like so much stuff has been building up with no answers chapter by chapter.
I'd like to see if there's a payoff with Derrick and Mr. Charger. I mean, they've left on rocky terms.
Yeah, you'd want them to rekindle that. The
like
singing lessons should continue.
But otherwise, it's got me stumped, man. I'm very excited to... It's unpredictable.
It is. So, well, that's the main thing about this book. Next chapter could totally eliminate everything that's already happened. Dave Lee, super fun.
Yes.
I will just say that there is an Owl Post bonus episode now that comes out either on a Thursday or Sunday. Someone, I believe it was Amy Harvey, one of the Amy's that writes into this show. There's two Amy's. She said she wasn't sure when to send her Owl Post in. Just send it in whenever and I will get to it. Mm-hmm. Dave Lee, do you want to plug all of your stuff for the listeners now?
All of my stuff. You can find me on YouTube at Dave Lee Down Under.
Some really great content there. If you like this pod, you'll definitely like Dave's stuff.
Thank you very much. I do movie reviews. I do documentaries on like classic characters and stuff, pop culture characters, cartoon characters, all that stuff. what else do I do? A bit of everything. Movie stuff.
Yeah.
Just movie and pop culture stuff.
And your
And I've
podcast
got a
goes up.
podcast. Yeah, of course. I get a podcast which goes up every single Monday.
Yeah.
Where I just talk for like an hour and a half, 2 hours about movie stuff and pop culture. And
And that goes up on your podcast app, any
Yeah.
podcast app, and on the YouTube
And on
channel. So
YouTube
check
too,
that out.
yeah.
And Patreon?
yeah, I'm on Patreon, Dave Lee Down Under as well. Just search Dave Lee Down Under. You can find me everywhere.
Awesome. And for my stuff, radiomike.com.au. Or I also launched a Patreon, patreon.com/radiomike. If you like any of my stuff, feel free to chuck me a couple dollars. And there is a Mike Talks that me and Dave did last
we
year.
did
So
too.
if you want to hear more of Dave, check out Mike Talks over on my 20th Century Boy feed or up on YouTube. That was a really great chat. I loved that.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I loved it.
No worries. Thanks for coming and meeting me in person for the first
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah, it's been great.
Until next time, see you later, Marauders Maps. This has been Harry Potter and the Boys.